Facebook COO Sheryl Sandberg.
Sheryl Sandberg.
Sheryl Sandberg.
Sheryl Sandberg, Mark Zuckerberg's right-hand woman at Facebook.
At 43, she's the chief operating officer of Facebook and a billionaire.
Sheryl Sandberg.
Women have been 14% of the top jobs in corporate America for 10 years. 10 years of no progress.
Her new book, Lean In, has ignited a firestorm as a sort of feminist manifesto for the Sex and the City generation.
There's news about Sheryl Sandberg.
When it comes to getting ahead, women can be their own worst enemies.
She asked me to come to bed with her.
Sarah Wynne Williams shares the story of feeling pressured by Sheryl Sandberg, then COO, to share a bed with her on a private jet. It wasn't something I felt comfortable doing.
Sheryl Sandberg.
Sheryl Sandberg.
Female force behind the largest social networking site in the world.
Until 3 years ago, I'd never talked about being a woman ever. I did what everyone did. You never talk about being a woman. People might notice you're a woman.
If the image of a female boss is the coldly dismissive Miranda Priestly in The Devil Wears Prada,
to expose the exploitation of...
Sandberg goes out of her way to be the opposite, a bundle of energy who never stops moving.
Enjoy these.
And greets people with hugs, not handshakes.
Sheryl Sandberg.
Sheryl Sandberg.
Please join me in welcoming Sheryl Sandberg.
Ever since the first publication of Sheryl Sandberg's book, Lean In, Women, Work, and the Will to Lead, on 11th March 2013, the book has now sold over 2.25 million copies worldwide. And although this isn't a critique on the book itself, it did in fact put her in a prominent position in the discussion about feminism and the treatment of women at the workplace as they aspire towards leadership roles in the office. Sheryl Sandberg's stances on feminism portrayed in her book seem to be in sharp contrast with what actually went down in Facebook, as portrayed by another book by author Sarah Wynne Williams called Careless People, a cautionary tale of power, greed, and lost idealism. Sarah Ann Williams was a former employee of Facebook that was fired from Facebook in 2017 after she filed a claim of sexual harassment within the company. There are many things that she alleges within her book, Careless People, but what I'd like to focus on is on Sheryl Sandberg. I'd like to focus on Sheryl Sandberg because of the politic that she espouses in her own book, especially because it talks about women and the struggles that women face in trying to advance themselves in their own careers. Also because it opens the truth and the possibility that it also being women that harm each other in the workplace and close doors for other women and make it difficult for women who may have been harmed in the workplace, sexually or any other way, to stand up for themselves and speak whenever these events occur. The issue with Sheryl Sandberg's own brand of feminism is that it mainly focuses on performance, and it fails when it is ultimately tested, given the accounts of Sarah Wynne Williams in her book. It fails when she fails to pay her workers for the labor that she makes them do on her book. It fails when she does not create an organizational culture that will protect women in the office. It fails when she does not see Sarah Ann Williams, who was pregnant at the time, as an even more vulnerable woman, and thus to give her more empathetic consideration given her current state as she works in the office. With this type of behavior that was described, Sheryl Sandberg's stance on feminism seems more like a performance and a grift for her to make money, rather than to impact change for women in the corporate landscape as she espoused to before. Another point that this highlights is that women like Sheryl Sandberg, who seek power and use said power in the same organizational spaces to suppress and minimize the voices of other women within the organization, thus making their own lives in the corporate space more difficult than they already are. The final point, and the most debased one, is how Sheryl Sandberg just blatantly abused some of the women in the organization that is Facebook.
Sarah worked closely with Cheryl and says her behaviour at times went against many of the things the COO publicly campaigned for.
In private jets, there's often a bedroom for the principal at the back of the jet. She asked me to come to bed with her, and that wasn't something I felt comfortable doing. I just think that you should not get into bed with your boss unless you want to, which in this case I did not.
She wanted to share a bed with Sarah Wynne Williams at a time when she was pregnant and she knew she was most vulnerable. And that's unfair. It's unfair, it's disgusting, it's unethical, it's uncalled for behavior. It's just disgusting.
There's also reporting that Sheryl Sandberg during that trip ordered an assistant to spend like over $10,000 on lingerie.
The only other way you could describe such behavior from such a person is 3 words: creepy, creepy, creepy.
There were a lot of weird and, inappropriate workplace antics at the company. And I think it's part of this broader thing at Meta where the people at the top have so much power and they don't really care about the employees or what's normal or boundaries. It's about giving them what they want.
I want to change the numbers at the top. I want to change the numbers. I'd like to know that in my daughter's generation, there are not going to be 14% of the top jobs held by women, that we're no longer going to write headlines saying that women are taking over the Senate when they get 20% of the seats. 20% is not a takeover. I want real equality.
So, in conclusion, the moral of this video is Sheryl Sandberg is a creep. Thank you all for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please share and subscribe. Thank you for watching my video. I hope to see you later in the future. Bye.